So let's talk about the stadium, which people outside of Tasmania think is the only issue that's on the ballot paper. No, there's plenty of issues, local ones, and we respect those. But this new stadium, which is on its way for the northern part of Hobart. People in the far north of the state, they don't want it at all. Instead, they'd like a little upgrade maybe of Lonnie Stadium. But we all know the story. The only way the AFL was going to give Tasmania a team was if the state government got together with some private companies and built the new stadium. That's what the promise is of not just this Premier, but of course the Labor Prime Minister. However, the Labor opposition leader was dead against it, but now is kind of dead against it, claiming that they will not build the stadium, but they'll keep the team. But of course the AFL has said the only way to keep the team is to have the stadium. Well, there was some interesting politics that was played this week, and I've got to say, the man who's searching for meaning behind meaning sometimes thought, well, this is all a bit clever, about why the Tasmanian Devils were formally announcing their foundation memberships this week during an election. Why are they showing their jerseys this week during an election? Are they trying to make it an election issue? Well, one of the things that became available this week was $10 foundation memberships, which you can get if you want to on the Tasmanian Devils website, and you can become a founding member for $10. And you can choose which sticker you'd like to put on your car, and you can tell everyone forever when in 20 years they might win the comp that you were a founding member. And about 100,000 people have done it. It is very impressive considering, obviously, you don't have a team, but you've got 100,000 members. Only problem is, the memberships only cost $10. Now, of course, there's no footy team to cheer on. There's a jersey if you want to buy it eventually when it's available in the shops. But essentially, the team doesn't exist. So for them to have 100,000 members is a bit of a political message in the final week going into a campaign. But also that 100,000 members, which is nothing to sneeze at, is nowhere near what you will actually pay for a membership when they start playing in that stadium if it is built. We had a look today, and from the you can sit at home and maybe have a sticker all the way through to the best seats in the house. Well, they'll cost you, in Sydney, somewhere between $1,200 or $1,200. For Collingwood, it'll be up to $660. Or, if you're Stephen Connery, you've probably got a mate. That's slander, he will say. In the Richmond Tigers, again, $1,200, $572 in the Brisbane Lions, or $749 for the Adelaide Crows. So a little way to go. But to the conspiracy theorists who think all of this is about trying to move the votes of the Tasmanian election, maybe, but it's the Tasmanian Premier who decided to have the election on Saturday because he knew before the election was announced that the club had already booked this week to be the week where it would reveal itself, and potentially the 100,000 memberships would help bolster his case for not just the team but for the stadium as well. In fact, according to the Canberra Times, on February 8 is when the club locked in March 18, that being this week, as the date for the official launch. It was 6 days later when the Premier had called the state election. So if anyone has taken the gamble, it is the Premier who decided to front and centre in the final week. 100,000 memberships is either a show of strength that helps get him over the line on Saturday, or it brings up the issue that caused him so much trouble when all of this was first announced.